Let's look at bread in the First Kings. Let's go to chapter 13 and 8 and 9. And the man of God said unto the king, If thou won't give me half thine house, I will not go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place. For so was it changed me by the word of the Lord, saying, Eat no bread, nor drink no water, nor turn again by the same way thou comest. Let's go on down to 15 through 23. Then he said unto him, Come home with me, and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go in with thee, neither will I eat bread, nor drink water with thee in this place. For it was said to me by the word of the Lord, Thou shalt eat no bread, nor drink no water there, nor turn again to go by the way that thou comest. And he said unto him, I am a prophet also, as thou art. And an angel spoke unto me by the word of the Lord, saying, Bring him back with thee unto thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him. So he went back with him, and did eat bread in his house, and drank water. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of the Lord came unto the prophet that brought him back. And he cried unto the men of God that came from Judah, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Forasmuch as thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Lord, and hast not kept the commandment which the Lord thy God commanded thee, but comest back, and hast eaten bread and drank water in the place of which the Lord did say unto thee, Eat no bread and drink no water, thy carcass shall not come into the sepulchre of thy fathers. And it came to pass, after he had eaten bread, and after he had drank, that he saddled for him the ass to wait for the prophet whom he had brought back. Let's go to chapter 17, verse 6. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. Let's go on down to 11. And as she was going to fetch it, he called to her, and said, Bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thy hand. Let's go to chapter 18, and 3 and 4. And Ahab called Obadiah, which was governor of his house. Now Obadiah feared the Lord greatly. For it was so, when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the Lord, that Obadiah took 100 prophets, and hid them by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water. Going down to 13. Was it not told my Lord what I did when Jezebel slew the prophets of the Lord, how I hid 100 men of the Lord's prophets by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water? Let's go to chapter 21, 4 through 7. And Ahab came unto his house heavy and displeased, because the word of Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I will not give thee the inheritance of my father. And he laid him down upon his bed, and turned away his face, and would eat no bread. And Jezebel his wife came to him, and said unto him, Why is thy spirit so sad, what that thou eatest no bread? And he said unto her, Because I spoke unto Naboth the Jezreelite, and said unto him, Give me thy vineyard for money, or else, if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard. And Jezebel his wife said unto him, Doest thou not govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let thy heart be merry. I will give thee thy vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. Let's go to chapter 22, 26 and 27. And the king of Israel said, Take Micaiah, and carry him back unto Ammon, the governor of the city, and to Joash, the king of Sun, and say, Thus saith the king, Put this fellow in the prison, and feed him with bread of affliction and with water of affliction, until I come in peace. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 4 and verse 8. And it fell on a day that Elijah passed to Shunem, where a great woman, and she consulted him to eat bread. And so it was that as often as he passed by, he turned thither to eat bread. Let's go on down to 42. And there came a man from Bethel Shelah, and brought the man of God bread of the first fruit, 20 loaves of barley, and a full ear of corn, and the husk thereof. And he said, Give unto the people, that they may eat. Let's go to chapter 26 and 22. And he answered, Thou shalt not smite them. Wouldest thou smite those whom thou hast taken captive with thy sword and with thy bow? Set bread and water before them, that they may eat and drink and go to their master. Let's go to chapter 18. We want 31 and 32. Hearken not to Hezekiah, but thus saith the king of Assyria, Make an agreement with me by a present, and come out to me, and then eat every man of his own vine, and every one of his fig tree, and drink ye every one of the waters of his cistern, until I come and take you away to the land like your own land, a land of corn and wine, a land of bread and a vineyard, and a land of oil, olive, and of honey, that ye may live and not die. And hearken not to Hezekiah when he persuadeth you, saying, The Lord will deliver us. Let's go to chapter 23, and we want verse 9. Nevertheless, the priests of the high place came not up to the altar of the Lord in Jerusalem, but they did eat of the unleavened bread among their brethren. Let's go to chapter 25 and verse 3. And on the 9th day of the 4th month the famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land. Let's go on down to 27 through 30. And it came to pass in the 7th and 13th year of captivity of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, in the 12th month, on the 7th and the 20th day of the month, that Evil-Merocha, king of Babylon, in the year he began to reign, did lift up his head of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, out of prison. And he spoke kindly to him, and set his throne above the throne of the kings that were with him in Babylon, and changed his prison garment. And he did eat bread continually before him all the days of his life. And his allowance was a continual allowance given him of a king, a daily rate for every day, all the days of his life. Now let's look at bread in the book of Chronicles. Let's go to 1 Chronicles 12 and 40. Moreover, they that were nigh them, even unto Issachar and Zebulun and Nebath, brought bread on asses and on camels and on mules and on oxen, and meat, milk, cakes of figs, and branches of raisins, and wine, and oil, and oxen, and sheep abundantly, for there was joy in Israel. Let's go to chapter 16, and we want verse 3. And he dealt to every one of Israel, both man and woman, to every one a loaf of bread, and a good piece of flesh, and a flaxen of wine. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 8, 13 through 15. Even after a certain rate every day, offering according to the commandment of Moses on the Sabbath, and on the new moon, and on the solemn feast, 3 times in a year, even in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles. And he appointed according to all the order of David his father, the courses of the priests to their service, and the Levites to their charge, to the priests and ministers before the priest, as a duty of every day required, the porters also by their course at every gate. For so had David the man of God commanded. And they departed not from the commandment of the king, and to the priests and the Levites concerning any matter, or concerning the treasurers. Let's go chapter 18, and we want 25 and 26. Then the king of Israel said, Take ye Micah, and carry him back to Ammon, the governor of the city, and to Joash, the king's son, and say, Thus saith the king, Put this fellow in the prison, and feed him with bread of affliction, and with water of affliction, until I return in peace. Let's go to chapter 30, and we want 13. And there assembled at Jerusalem much people to keep the feast of unleavened bread in the second month, a very great congregation. Let's go on over to 21. And the children of Israel that were present at Jerusalem kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with the great gladness. And the Levites and the priests praised the Lord day by day, singing with loud instruments unto the Lord. Go to chapter 35, and we want verse 17. And the children of Israel that were present kept the Passover at that time, and the feast of unleavened bread 7 days. Let's go to the book of Ezra. We want chapter 6, and we want 21 and 22. And the children of Israel, which will come again out of captivity, and all such as had separated themselves unto them from the filthiness of the heathen of the land, to seek the Lord God of Israel, did eat, and kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy, for the Lord had made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria unto them, to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel. Let's go to chapter 10, and we want verse 6. Then Ezra rose up from before the house of God, and went into the chamber of Jehoiakim, the king of El-Ashah. And when he came thither, he did eat no bread, nor drink no water, for he mourned because of the transgressions of them that had been carried away. Let's go to the book of Nehemiah. Let's go to chapter 5, and we want 14 through 18. Moreover, from the time that I was appointed to be their governor in the land of Judah, and from the 20th year even unto the 2 and 13th year of Artaxerxes the king, that is 12 years, I and my brethren have not eaten the bread of the governor, but the former governor that had been before me were chargeable unto the people, and had taken of them bread and wine, besides 40 shekels of silver, yea, even their servants bore rule over the people. But so did not I, because of the fear of God. Yea, also I continued in the work of this wall, neither brought me any lamb, and all my servants were gathered thither unto the work. Moreover, there were at my table 150 of the Jews and rulers, besides those that came unto us from among the heathen that are about us. Now that which are prepared for the daily was 1 ox and 6 chosen sheep, also fowls that were prepared for me, and once in 10 days store of all the sorts of wine. Yet for all this required not I the bread of the governor, because the bondage was heavy upon this people. Think upon me, my God, for good according to all that I have done for this people. Go to chapter 9, 13 through 15. Thou comest down also upon Mount Sinai, and speak with them from heaven, and givest them right judgment, and true laws, good statutes and commandments. and mayest known unto them thy holy Sabbath, and commandest them precepts, statutes, and laws by the hand of Moses thy servant, and givest them bread from heaven for their hunger, and broughtest forth water for them out of the rock for their thirst, and promised them that they should go in to possess the land which thou hast sworn to give them. Let's go to chapter 13 and 1 and 2. On that day they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Amorites and the Moabites should not come into the congregation of God forever, because they met not the children of Israel's bread and water, and hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit our God turned the curse into a blessing. In the Strong's, it is 3899. Food, bread or grain, fruit, loaf, meat, and victuals.